Chapter 1. An Adventurous Girl. Amelia Earhart was never afraid to try new things. Amelia saw her first roller coaster at the 1904 World's Fair. After the fair, she decided to build her own roller coaster in the backyard of her home in Atchison, Kansas. Amelia was just 7 years old.
Amelia, you're going to get in trouble. Don't worry, Muriel. Mother and Father can't see us. I'll take one quick ride. No one will know.
What is Amelia up to now? Amelia, what on earth are you doing?
It's a roller coaster. I wanted to see what it was like to go fast.
I love Amelia's spirit, but sometimes I wish she was more like other girls.
As a young girl, Amelia spent time at her grandmother's house in Atchison. Amelia's grandmother taught her proper manners for a young girl, but Amelia was interested in other things.
Amelia, it is not good manners for girls to lie on the floor like that.
Manners? That's no fun. I'd rather learn about bugs.
During the winter, Amelia spent most of her time speeding down hills on her sled.
You can't lie down on a sled. It's too dangerous for girls.
Oh, yeah? I'll show you what girls can do.
Don't do it, Amelia. You could get hurt. She's crazy.
Yippee!
In 1920, Amelia's family traveled to California. There she saw her first air show.
Oh, Father, this is so exciting.
Just imagine what it's like for the men who fly the planes.
Father, I simply must take a ride in an airplane.
You're not scared, are you?
No, it's beautiful up here. One day, I'll fly a plane on my own. I'd love to take flying lessons, Father.
Lessons are expensive, Amelia.
I'll get a job to help pay for them.
A month later, Amelia began flying lessons with Netta Snook, a female flight instructor.
You'll never turn away from flying now.
I can't believe I haven't tried this before.
Amelia soon learned flying was both exciting and dangerous.
Amelia, you're bringing the plane down too fast.
We're headed for the ground, Netta. What should I do?
Let me take control, now!
Despite her early mistakes, Amelia was determined to become a pilot. Chapter 2. A Flying Success. Soon, Amelia improved her skills enough to control the plane herself.
You're on your own now, kid. I'm only here if you need me.
Thanks, Netta.
Along with flying lessons, Amelia spent time at the airport learning how planes work. I never imagined a woman could work as a plane mechanic.
If I'm going to fly a plane, I should know how to fix one as well.
Amelia soon bought her first airplane, a bright yellow Kinner Airster she called the Canary.
I need to learn some stunts. Can you show me?
Let's start with a barrel roll so you'll know how to pull out of a spin. After months of flying solo, Amelia set out to break a world record in 1922.
Setting a record for altitude will prove that I'm serious about being a pilot.
Amelia Earhart just set a new world record. She's the first woman to fly a plane at 14,000 feet. Soon, Amelia became a well-known pilot. Many air shows were popular just because Amelia was there.
I can't wait to see Amelia in her airplane. Did you hear she set a world record? When I get older, I want to fly airplanes, just like Amelia.
In New York, publisher George Putnam had also heard about Amelia's skills as a pilot. In 1928, he invited Amelia to discuss a new adventure in flight. What do you think about Charles Lindbergh's first flight across the Atlantic Ocean?
It's a great achievement by another pilot.
Well, how would you like to be the first woman to make that flight? 2 men will pilot the plane. You'd be the captain.
Captain suits me fine. For now. I can handle the maps and radio.
It'll be a dangerous trip. The weather over the Atlantic gets rough in June.
I'm ready for the challenge.
Amelia spent many hours practicing in a larger plane that could carry her across the Atlantic Ocean.
I know I could pilot the plane, if only they'd give me the chance.
Chapter 3. A Strong Woman. On June 17, 1928, a plane called the Friendship took off from the Atlantic coast near Boston. The plane was bound for Nova Scotia, where it would then head for Wales. But the plane ran into trouble in Nova Scotia.
It's no use. We can't take off in these strong winds.
Let's lighten the plane by removing some fuel. With less weight, we'll be able to take off safely. Great idea, Amelia.
With the wind, we're better off flying to Ireland than Wales.
She's right. I say we change our course.
They'll take my advice, but they still won't let me fly the plane.
As the flight neared Ireland, a heavy fog caused trouble for the crew. Reduce speed. We need to get our bearings. I can't read the gauges. Can you tell where we are?
I can barely see land. Hello? Can anyone hear me? The radio isn't working.
We'll have to guide the plane in on our own.
Sir, are we in Ireland?
No, lady. You're in Wales. Even though Amelia didn't pilot the plane, she became world famous after the flight. Did you ever want to give up?
Never.
Are there more flights in your future?
I want every opportunity and adventure life can give.
Back in New York, Amelia discussed the flight with George. I hear you did good work, Amelia.
I didn't really do anything on that flight. I felt like baggage. I wasn't allowed to pilot because I'm a woman.
You'll get your chance. I'll see to it. After the Friendship flight, Amelia went on a tour of major U.S. cities. Thousands of people turned out to hear Amelia's views on aviation.
Someday, women will fly the Atlantic and think little of it, because it is an ordinary thing to do.
Amelia was determined to become known for her own accomplishments. Amelia wrote a book about the Friendship flight that inspired other women to become aviators.
I never thought women aviators would be taken seriously. You proved me wrong. Times are changing. Women can succeed in flight and other careers.
Amelia continued to push the limits of flight. Amelia Earhart has set the woman's speed record of 181.18 miles per hour. Amelia also helped organize the first cross-country air race for female pilots. On August 18, 1929, 19 women took part in the race from California to Ohio. The race became known as the Powder Puff Derby. 8 days later, Amelia finished the Derby in third place. As Amelia and George spent more time together, they fell in love. They married on February 7, 1931.
George, I don't want our marriage to end my career. I want our marriage to be an equal partnership.
I understand how important your career is to you. News of their marriage spread around the world. Will you continue to fly now that you're married? What record will you go for next? Though she didn't tell the reporters, Amelia was already planning her next adventure.
I'd like to fly across the Atlantic again. But this time, I want to pilot the plane. Alone.
I know you can do it, but we will have to plan carefully. Amelia asked aviation pioneer 𝔸𝕚𝕙𝕚 to help plan her trip across the Atlantic Ocean. Your plane needs work. We'll have to update equipment and navigation tools. Bernd's right. We also need a new route across the Atlantic. We don't have to go to Paris as Lindbergh did.
Agreed. But we must also keep our plans secret. We don't want reporters to interfere.
Your plane is just about ready. We put in a stronger engine and added some fuel tanks.
The plane looks great, Bernd, but the engine still needs some work.
Can I help you, Miss Earhart?
No thanks. I can do this on my own.
On May 20th, 1932, Amelia left Harbor Grace, Newfoundland, bound for France. This time, Amelia was at the controls of the plane. Hey, the weather looks clear. Miss Earhart should have a smooth flight. Let's hope so. The weather can change quickly over the ocean. Amelia quickly brought the plane to its cruising altitude of 12,000 feet. Everything went according to plan. But around midnight, an unexpected ice storm put Amelia's piloting skills to the test.
The ice is getting too heavy. I'll have to bring her down to a lower altitude where it's warmer. That was close.
As her flight continued, Amelia experienced more problems.
The gauges aren't working. I'll have to land by sight.
Amelia became the first woman to fly alone across the Atlantic Ocean. She made the trip in 14 hours and 54 minutes, another world record.
My name is Amelia Earhart. Where am I?
In Gallagher's pasture. You're in Ireland, ma'am. Chapter 4. Her Last Flight. Amelia set several flight records during her trip across the Atlantic, but she wanted more.
I'll follow the equator. That will give me a natural route around the world.
I don't know, Amelia. A flight around the world? You'd have to cross both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans.
I know what it's like to cross an ocean.
Yes, but in the Pacific, it's harder to find places to refuel your plane. Some islands aren't even on this map.
Fred Noonan will be joining me. You know he's a great navigator.
On June 1st, 1937, Amelia and Fred Noonan left Miami, Florida. They planned to circle the Earth and arrive in Oakland, California by July 4th. The first part of the journey took Amelia and Fred across South America and over some of the thickest rainforests in the world. You can only see the treetops. It's like carpet.
It's more beautiful than the first time I saw the ground from an airplane.
On June 29th, 1937, Amelia stopped in 𝔸𝕒𝕚𝕙, New Guinea. Only 7,000 miles remained. On July 1st, Amelia called George.
We're headed to Howland Island in the morning.
How's your fuel supply?
We've got enough fuel for 22 hours. We should be fine.
Have a safe flight. I'll see you in Oakland. Early the next morning, Amelia and Fred Noonan took off from 𝔸𝕚𝕚, New Guinea.
Looks like a good day for flying. We should land at Howland Island early tomorrow morning, Fred.
We should be able to see the Coast Guard ship Itasca shortly after sunrise. Their crew will guide us into the island.
Keep a close watch. That island is so small we could miss it.
16 hours into the flight, trouble arose. The winds are getting stronger. We may have to fly at a higher altitude to avoid them.
The Coast Guard has to be out there. We've got cloudy weather. Do you read me?
Yes, I hear you. What's your location?
We must be on you but cannot see you. But gas is running low.
Check the weather. Where can they be that they see clouds? They can't be anywhere near us.
We are circling but cannot hear you. We are running on north and south line.
Amelia and Fred were never heard from again. Amelia's plane was never found. No one knows what happened during the last hours of Amelia's final flight. Today, Amelia lives on as a legend of flight. She remains an inspiration to pilots everywhere.